Hello to you all. This is OBN, Voice for the People. I'm Thomas Kamulato with the news. The House of People's Representative HPR approved the members for Administrative Boundaries and the Identity Issue Commission. Let us has an account.
The House of People's Representatives deliberated on members of Administrative Boundaries and Identity Issues Commission presented to it for approval. The commission has 41 members comprising various segments of the society. Members of the House have raised ranges of ideas and critics regarding the elected members of the commission. The recruitment of the members is good as it based on their profile. Especially the focus given to scholars is amazing. So I hope that they will do their best in bringing reconciliation scientifically, she said.
The main issue is that the scholars are expected to make an investigation through participating the people of the area and present a resolution. In this regard, I think our Premier has presented these people looking into the case.
They were selected from all parties of the society. They hold a different political point of view. Religious leaders and country elders are also included in the election. Thus, I believe that they will discharge their mandate properly.
After the discussion, the House has overwhelmingly approved the election of the members with 16 against the vote and 4 abstain. The elected members of the Administrative Boundaries and Identity Issues Commission have taken oath. Besides this, the House heard the report of government sector's work performance.
The elected members for Administrative Boundaries and the Identity Issue Commission called upon the House of People Representative to discharge its responsibility in stopping conflict in the country. We've compiled their ideas.
Komishiniin araaraa kuni dhaabbattuun isaati baay'isee kan ummata Itoophiyaa tasgabbeessuun jira.
The establishment of a reconciliation commission has significant importance for our country's people, not only for our country. It is also brings change in the Horn of African countries. On the first hand, we should have to think about our people. Human beings could be affected by hostility and war. So in order to win them, we have to show them love and equality. So if a person loved someone, God will love him. This is what our Quran teaches us. These elected individuals will bring significant stability among our people because Ethiopia is known by peace. So we all should strive for our country's peace and stability. There are long-time problems which affect our people. Therefore, we have to work on solving such problems and expanding democratic system and equality.
The Oromo Regional State Government has held discussion with Oromo artists and athletes in Oromo Finfinne Oromo Culture Center. Fikadu Brown has the detail.
On the discussion, paper has been presented by Dr. Dereji Garafa. He states that Oromo artists have played leading role in mobilizing and unifying the Oromo people, yet that they have also played enormous role in teaching culture, language and struggle. Some artists and athletes who have participated on the discussion raised different problems and questions they have been meeting in developing art of Oromo people and responded by head of rural political mobilization with Central ODP office at Diswaraga.
Artistin Oromo Dabballe Oromoti, Tika Oromoti.
Oromo artists are servant, guard and military of Oromo people. Frankly speaking, this change is in what condition? Whether you believe or not, Oromo artists are nationalists. Oromo artists are fighting for the rights of the people, but we couldn't get attention.
Artistonni Oromo, atletonni Oromo,
Oromo artists and athletes have played significant role in freedom of Oromo people. You have played a role which needs great recognition.
They have also said artists and the government should work together in order to repeat the gained freedom with economy.
We are not working on our economy. Due to this, we are departed.
waan waloodhaan finne kan ammoo amma eessa geeroo inni wanti hundumtuu xumurame iddoo wal komachuu geenyeerra miti lama.
We didn't finish everything and reached for complaint. Now we shouldn't talk about past with our art. It is time to show how Oromo lead the country.
Addisu further note that the government is working with due attention to develop Oromo artists at the country as well as the Africa. Artists and athletes have also expressed their readiness to play their fair share in the country's development.
A spokesperson of the U.S. Embassy in Ethiopia, Nicholas Burnett, said America will support the reforms being undertaken in Ethiopia. Anwar Kari reports.
In an exclusive interview with OBN, spokesperson of the U.S. Embassy in Ethiopia, Nicholas Burnett, said the changes in Ethiopia are remarkable.
The United States fully supports the reform process in Ethiopia. I think we can safely say that a year ago, the types of conversations that are happening in Ethiopia, the types of positive changes were unthinkable.
He said the U.S. foreign policy towards Ethiopia is based on mutual interest.
Our policy toward Ethiopia is to develop strong partnerships based on mutual interests. And I would say that, since Prime Minister Abiy came into power, the range of our shared interests has only increased. We've always shared interest in regional stability and economic prosperity. The United States has long been a supporter of humanitarian needs in Ethiopia.
Regarding American investment in Ethiopia, Nick said the United States of America is investing in Ethiopia better than any others.
We're investing more than any other bilateral partner in Ethiopia, to the tune of around $1 billion a year for the last several years. I think it depends on how you want to define investment. Our idea of an investment is putting our resources towards a longer-term benefit. And that's when I talk about capacity building. So when we invest in the capacity of Ethiopian teachers to teach their children, that's an investment that will pay off over decades through increased literacy rates, which can translate into better job opportunities, which can translate into a healthier population, a wealthier population. That's the kind of investment we make.
He appreciated the way Ethiopians are living in harmony, respecting their differences.
And I think as we look at some of the challenges that Ethiopia is wrestling with, that's an interesting idea. That we can celebrate our diversity, that we can cherish our heritage as individuals, but we can also come together under the brand of shared ideals and work together to build a shared future.
Nicholas witnessed that the internal reform in Ethiopia is benefiting neighboring countries.
The internal reforms, we've seen Prime Minister Abiy reach out to neighboring countries to establish stronger ties. The rapprochement with Eritrea is an outstanding example of the kind of opportunity for greater connectivity and cooperation that can benefit the entire region.
He has also held the reapportionment of Ethiopia and Eritrea.
We very much welcome the rapprochement between Ethiopia and Eritrea. This will offer new opportunities for people in both countries, not just in terms of restoring lost ties, and certainly I think we were all emotionally touched by the celebrations when people were reunited with their families for the first time.
Senior Africa researcher for Human Rights Watch, Felix Horn, said Oromo youth have used social media for change the country and now it should use for the nation building. Oromo Boyna reports.
Felix Horn is a senior Africa researcher at Human Rights Watch who has done extensive researches into human rights abuses in Ethiopia and Eritrea. In an exclusive interview with OBN, he said that significant role in mobilizing and creating informed citizenry if it is used wisely. He added that Oromo youth protests have realized the use of social media in practice during their freedom struggle.
And I think the opportunities for social media to allow Ethiopian youth from different ethnic groups, from different backgrounds to connect is incredible. And obviously it played a major role in the protests, both in terms of networking different people, spreading information about what was happening in different parts of Oromia, and this is really important. Really, it's the positive side of social media.
He also raised that it has also its own disadvantage if it is not used properly.
This negative side, it just seems to be so prevalent right now, where it's about just hate speeches everywhere, often along ethnic lines, very dangerous speech. And what I've seen is that many of the sort of reasonable, moderate people within online communities have sort of backed off. Right? In the early days, I remember people would sort of self-regulate, saying, "Oh no, you shouldn't be saying that." Now those people don't do that, because when they do that, they get abused themselves. So it seems that the social media space, to me, is extremely polarized. There's just it's an echo chamber. You know, people follow people that they know and they like, and yeah, there's a lot of abuse hurled back and forth. I think this is a real concern, given that media, civil society hasn't yet become a relevant voice for many people.
Felix noted that extreme hate speech on social media may sometimes lead people to serious conflicts.
And then just influential social media commentators. I mean, they should be an advocacy target for all of us. We should be ensuring that they understand how their posts can contribute to violence, and how their lead in terms of abusive speech can cause others to follow. And when abusive speech is shared on social media, they can also play a role in saying, "Hey, that's not okay. We do not want this in our social media space." But it's a huge concern of ours right now.
He said that one of the solutions of avoiding hate speech on social media is carefully crafting its usage.
But there's no easy solution to the problem of hate speech and dangerous speech on social media. But the solution should be a broad package of tactics and strategies. Certainly Facebook should play a role in moderating content, improving sort of digital literacy, civic education campaigns about the problems of hate speech, both online and offline. A hate speech law could be part of that. It may have to be extremely carefully crafted. You know, we're cognizant of the fact that in Ethiopia, vague definitions in laws have been used in the past to limit peaceful expressions of dissent, and everyone says, "Oh, but it's Abiy now, that won't happen." Well, you don't design a law based on who the current prime minister is, right? So hate speech law, carefully crafted, perhaps.
The Oromia Education Bureau announced that the role of NGOs is immense in ensuring education quality in the region. The Bureau has held discussion with stakeholders on ways of strongly sustaining their participation. Aklurgo brought the story.
Array Development Partners has held its third conference with other stakeholders in Finfinne City. Chairperson of Array Development Partners, Alamayu Hailu, had said the following about its mission.
እዚህ ሀገር ገንዘብ ይዘው የመጡ ድርጅቶች በመንግስት በኩል ቶሎ ፍቃድ የማግኘት
Previously, different NGOs had been facing bureaucratic workers to get permission, but after the joint forum was formed, problems were solved.
Deputy Head of the Oromia Education Bureau, Alamayu Asaffa, said that education quality will be ensured by the concerted effort of all stakeholders.
Bu'aa barachuu barattoota guddisuu kan dandeenyu dhiyeessii barnootaa wajjin wal qabata.
After different NGOs that work on education quality gathered together under a forum, they have been providing all the supplementary materials by keeping in touch with us all the time.
The consortium inculcates 150 domestic and foreign NGOs that have been working in provision of education materials, capacity building, and on dropouts, according to Alamayo. The consortium has evaluated its 6 months' work performance. Some schools that have been supported by Array has presented their performances on the event. Some participants expressed their readiness to support Array to ensure education access and quality.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's all for now, and bye-bye.